One Night Ultimate Werewolf, how to play. The object of the game for the villagers is to kill one werewolf. The object for the werewolves is to not have any werewolf die. Gather cards based on the number of players. For 3 players, use 2 werewolves, 1 seer, 1 robber, 1 troublemaker, and 1 villager. For 4 players, add another villager. For 5 players, add another villager. For 6 to 10 players, add cards so you always have exactly 3 more cards than the number of players playing. Place tokens on the table, color side up, for each card used in the game so all the players can remember. Shuffle the cards, then deal 1 card to each player. Then, place the remaining 3 cards face down on the table next to one another, being sure no one sees them and that all players can easily reach them. Players look at their own card, keeping it hidden from others, then place it face down on the table in front of them, near the 3 center cards. Players do not look at their roll cards or show them to others unless an action says so. Designate 1 player to be the announcer, or you can use the free app to handle it all for you.
Everyone, close your eyes. Werewolves, wake up.
The game begins with everyone closing their eyes, then a series of stages happen where the announcer indicates for certain characters to open their eyes and some take actions. The villager, tanner, and hunter never wake up at night. The order that all the cards wake up in the night is doppelganger, werewolf, minion, mason, seer, robber, troublemaker, drunk, insomniac. If you aren't playing with a roll, then skip it. The roll's actions are: all the werewolves open their eyes and look at each other. They are on the werewolf team. When the minion wakes, all the werewolves put their thumbs up so the minion can see them. The minion is on the werewolf team. If no player was a werewolf, the minion wins by surviving the game. When playing with the mason, you must have both mason cards in the game. Masons wake up and look at each other. Masons are on the village team. The seer may either look at 1 player's card or 2 center cards, then puts them back to their same location. The seer is on the village team. The robber may choose to change their card with any other player. If they do, then the robber looks at their new card. The player who receives the traded robber card is on the village team, and the former robber is on whichever team their new card is on. The robber does not carry out the action of their new card that night if it would apply. The troublemaker may switch the cards of 2 other players without looking at them. Those players are now the new roles with potentially new win conditions. The troublemaker is on the village team. The drunk must trade their own card with any one of the 3 center cards, but they may not look at it. The drunk is now the new role in front of them and on that team, even though they don't know what it is. The insomniac looks at their own card to see if it is changed. You only use the insomniac if you are also playing with the robber or troublemaker or both. The insomniac is on the village team. The villager has no abilities and is on the village team. The tanner wins the game if they die. If no werewolves die as well, then the werewolves do not win. If the tanner dies and a werewolf dies, then the tanner and the village both win. The tanner is considered a member of the village, but is not on the village team. If the hunter dies, then the player that the hunter is pointing at also dies regardless of the number of votes for them. The hunter is on the village team. The doppelganger wakes up first and looks at any 1 player's card, but leaves it there. The doppelganger then takes on the role and victory condition of the card they looked at. If the card is a villager, tanner, or hunter, then the doppelganger takes no more actions in the night. If it is the werewolf or mason, then the doppelganger wakes up with those roles when they wake up and is on their team. If it is the seer, robber, troublemaker, or drunk, then the doppelganger immediately performs that role's action and does not wake up when the original roles wake. If it is the insomniac, then the doppelganger will wake again after the original and look at their card. At the end of the doppelganger's turn, the announcer will tell them to close their eyes unless they are a minion. Then the werewolves will all thumbs up. If the doppelganger's card is switched later in the night, then the new player who has the doppelganger assumes the team that the original doppelganger picked. After the night, all players wake up and discuss amongst themselves who they think the werewolves are. Players do not have to tell the truth. Players may not look at their role card or show them to others. Players are allowed to use the tokens to place them on cards to help deduce what role they think the cards are. After a few minutes of discussion, all the players vote. The announcer says, "Everyone, 3, 2, 1, vote." Then, simultaneously, all players point at another player. The player with the most points dies. If there is a tie, then all the tied players die. If no player receives more than one vote, then no one dies. The players who died reveal their cards. If at least one werewolf died, then the village team wins. If there is at least one werewolf player and no werewolf dies, then the werewolf team wins.